Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Fancy a Kickaboyt podcast with me, Liam Sterling.
And unfortunately, me, Ash Marshall.
Yeah, it's a tough one for Ash today. Obviously, as many of you know, Saturday, Ash's team Arsenal played my team Liverpool, and well, I think we all know the result. Ash doesn't want to be reminded of it too much, but we're going to be getting into that in a little bit. But first off, for this week's episode, we're going to be going over the England results from last week, because I feel like we need to touch on it a little bit. Our last episode, we talked about the games just as they were about to start that week, and we expressed our opinions on Southgate and the squad. But as we said, it was sort of the results that we was expecting.
Yeah, pretty boring. You have to watch all the games because obviously we are English. We're proud to be English, but yeah, it was exactly what you said, Liam. Boring. It was an easy win, don't get me wrong, but you know, Poland was probably the more difficult game out of the two. We gifted them a goal. Lewandowski was out. If he was in, would he have been a little bit more of a difficult game? I don't know. Is he that good that he can change the game on his own? I'm not too sure, but yeah, it's just disappointing to see because there's so much attacking talent there who are young, hungry for winning trophies, and I'm not complaining. We won both games. We won all of them, so you can't really complain too much. But the fact is, it was boring, and nothing's changing. I think we'll see how we get on in the Euros. But if that's the style of football we're going to play with Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice in centre midfield, then God help us.
I think the results went the right way, but it wasn't the performances or the sort of football that you'd want to see as an England fan personally. Like I remember saying, as we said in our last episode, that the results will firmly beat San Marino, which we did 5-0, and we said that. But I remember we were saying if the other games are sort of like a 1-0 win or a 2-0 or just sliding through, then it's not the sort of performances I'd expect from an England side, and that's what we ended up seeing. The 2-0 against Albania was, I'll be honest, you should be thrashing Albania. No disrespect to them, but they haven't exactly got the personnel to be putting up some of the players that we've got in that squad, but they were, and that was one of the frustrating things. And then Poland, what you're saying there about Lewandowski, my personal opinion, I think he is that, like, he could have easily, if he was there on that pitch, we wouldn't have won that game, in my opinion, because when you look at some of the chances they had, and if you put Lewandowski in those positions and with those opportunities, he's going to put them away, in my opinion. And that was a let off for Southgate, I think, and a shame for Poland, because I think if they'd have had Lewandowski, they would have been very confident going into that. Especially, we had to rely on a Harry Maguire goal in the dying minutes of the game, like it was the 84th minute or something silly. We shouldn't be relying on Harry Maguire to score those winning goals against Poland.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I think it's only a matter of time before Southgate gets found out. And I think when he does get found out, it's going to be embarrassing. I can honestly just see us getting absolutely humiliated at the Euros. Just no structure, no style. You can't tell me there's no style of play. Like there is no clear vision for what the players are going to work towards. There just isn't. But yeah, I think we'll move on to the Premier League.
I've had enough talking about England now because they're just going to wind me up.
Done.
Trent's got to get on that plane. Done. End of.
Yes, well, that's a good way to start, I guess.
Yeah.
I think we'll finish off with the Liverpool game today because I need to leave that till the end.
All right, I was happy to start or whatever you want to do.
First game was Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 2, West Brom 5. What an absolute drubbing that was for Chelsea. And I think that is a big lesson for Thomas Tuchel. It's just Chelsea's bogey team, isn't it? I think they struggled. Was it 3-3 in the end at the first game for them?
Yeah, Thiago Silva made those mistakes that we all remember, and then again he's getting found out against a West Brom front line. So he's just not having. This isn't me saying Thiago Silva's bad. We all know Thiago Silva's like a fantastic defender. He was world class for a long period of his career, especially with PSG. But he obviously is at the tail end of that, amazing career now, and he's getting found out in the Premier League against Sam Allardyce's West Brom. It just makes me laugh. Imagine going from the Parc des Princes to the Hawthorns and you're getting thumped 5-2.
Unreal. And Callum Robinson, mate. I think he scored like 32% of. No, West Brom have scored 32% of the goals Chelsea have conceded this year. That is mental.
That is ridiculous.
Mental. Yeah. And Callum Robinson scored 5 goals all season, and they're all against Chelsea.
Oh, that's not even a bogey team. That's just a bogey player as well.
Yeah, bogey player as well as a bogey team. I think Chelsea will still finish top 6. Will they get
Yeah,
top 4? I don't
yeah, I
know.
don't
It's
think
going to be
I
a
don't think they'll get
mad last 8 games.
it will be.
Leeds 2, Sheffield United 1. I had Leeds down to win this one all day long. Sheffield United, we haven't really spoken about Sheffield United. A lot has happened, really. Manager's gone out the window, just straight out. What do you think?
Wilder got in the boot. Don't really actually, no, to be fair, I do understand it. But I think they're at a period now where if you sack Wilder, there's not really anyone of the right personnel to bring in my opinion. You're fighting a relegation battle. You're no doubt going to go down. I don't see many managers looking at that going, it's a decent opportunity to take a Sheffield United team and try and do the impossible, which genuinely is impossible. It's not like one of them old Sam Allardyce situations where he gets a team that are sitting, a few points off and then they win the last 10 games, something stupid. It's not like that for Sheffield, and they're a decent side. They've got some good players, but I feel sorry for Wilder because I feel like his overachievement from last season has kind of really sold him for this season and how bad they've been, because last season was it was a bogey year. I don't think they should have done as well as they did, and I think a lot of the other teams in the Premier League last year were quite poor, and that's what kind of helped them out a little bit, and it was a resilient defence on their side. But yeah, they're going back down the way that we all thought they would, to be honest, and I'm not surprised of it, but I feel it's a shame because I quite like them. I don't mind. I think Sheffield are a nice little side, but yeah, for Leeds it's a massive one because it's edging them closer and closer to that top half of the table, and they're bang on points with your lot.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. The sacking of Wilder, I think, is just pointless. I have seen reports that he tried to resign 2 times before actually resigning third time lucky, but he was asking for about 4 or 5 million payout. And the chairman's come out and absolutely stitched him up and said he tried to resign 2-3 months ago and he wanted a 5 million payout. Why on earth would I do that when you're bottom of the league? So it was obviously only a matter of time. The writing was on the wall for Wilder. And yeah, I'm actually quite worried for Sheffield United now because I think they will end up going down and they're struggling in the Championship. It's not an easy league, as we all know, and they will end up going down again or really struggling like a Sunderland. You've really got to look at those. But that's that great win for Leeds. And yes, as you said, they are right up Arsenal's backside. But so isn't everyone at the moment, unfortunately. King Power Stadium, Leicester 0, Man City 2.
Yeah. Are we surprised, really?
Not really. I mean, Leicester are a bit of a weird side this year. They don't look good, but they're getting results. Like, obviously, they've lost at the weekend, but like Vardy's having Vardy and Aubameyang, for me, like this season's a write-off, and their age is clearly showing.
Yeah.
But Man City, yeah, look, you've got to be something special to beat them. But 2-0 away from home, good 3 points for City, considering they have probably had about 8 or 9 players play in the internationals last week. So fair play to them, and that's, I guess, another reason as to why they're going to walk this league again. It's
another clean sheet as well. That's one of the big things for me. It's not just another 3 points. It's another clean sheet, and it's another dominant performance from them. And it's just same. Obviously, we've got the news that Aguero is going to be leaving at the end of the season, which is like. I personally, I think that's a massive loss for him. I know he's
hard to have him at Arsenal all day long.
Yeah, I'd take him. I'd take him at Liverpool because you don't lose that quality. I get he's older now and he might not have that snap of pace that he used to. But when you look at him, he's a similar age now and he's at a similar point in his career, like you said about Vardy and Aubameyang, and you can see clear differences. That, in my opinion, you can see clear differences that Aguero's still got that snap in his shot, and he's still got that eye for goal, and he's still got that. He has got a little bit of pace still about him. He's not turned into a donkey who can't.
He's born with it. He's born with footballing talent, definitely.
Yeah, natural.
But I'd have him at Arsenal. I probably wouldn't give him a 3-year contract like we did with Willian, but I'll maybe pay as you play.
yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll give you a $5.
Yeah,
and an extra quid for every goal.
And then Saturday night, go on. Off you go.
Well, as Liverpool Arsenal, it was the fancy Kickaboyt derby, and
been waiting a long time.
Come out on top. It was expected. I'm not gonna. This isn't me like sitting here gloating or going, oh, I knew we'd beat you, but I did feel confident going into the game. I think Arsenal, they blow hot and cold a lot this season. Sometimes you see this reaction from the players and you think, right, finally we're starting to see little instances of what Arteta wants and what that side can do. Because when you look at that front line on paper, especially some of the attacking players that you've got, they should be banging in the goals every week, but they don't seem to be clicking from time to time. And Liverpool are on form, and like we said, Trent Alexander-Arnold. I said to you before the game, I said that I reckon we'll see a big performance from Trent here, and we did. That ball for Jota's header was just unbelievable, and defensively he looked better as well. He was up against Aubameyang, and I know we're saying about him dropping off a bit, but he can, he can cause a problem and he can terrorise when he wants to. And I think Trent, he didn't really have too much to worry about with him, and when he did, he dealt with it quite well. I felt, Arsenal were quite pinned back a lot in the game, and we dominated a lot in midfield, especially thanks to the performances from Fabinho and Thiago. I think them two alongside each other, they just look so good. I think Fabinho needs, Thiago needs Fabinho alongside him, because we seen him giving away lots of silly fouls and trying to make those challenges as a number 6, but it just wasn't working out for him in that position, and he works better pushing forward, more of a bit of a number 8, a bit of a box to box, and having Fabinho there, he's just not got to worry about that defensive side of his game as much. And I think that was where the game was won. It was won in midfield, and it was won between those two. Fabinho's he's world class, like easily best defensive midfielder in the world, in my opinion.
I'll give it to you. You did text me before the game and said, look, I'm expecting an easy 3 points here, and I don't even know if we made it easy for you. I just think we made it so hard for ourselves. No one turned up. Partey and Danny Spice got absolutely bullied by the likes of Fabinho and Thiago. Odegaard just, he looked lost. He had no service. It's probably one of the most frustrating games he's played in an Arsenal shirt, if not the most. But it's just frustrating because you think back to last week when we come back like 3-0 down to get a draw, a point at West Ham. You think, is that a turning point? Or, beating Chelsea at home on Boxing Day, was that a turning point? And I just think like that game on Saturday night, we looked like we'd gone backwards 10 steps. It's absolutely bizarre. I don't really know what to think anymore. I walked into work this morning and I had all the Tottenham fans on my back. Arteta's out, Arteta out. You make your 10th. You're not going to do anything this year. But then one side of me is like, hold up a minute. You got to think, when Liverpool employed Klopp, and I'm not saying, you can't compare Arteta and Klopp. You can't have different breeds. But Arteta needs time, and he's just been here over a year. He's still got Deadwood from Arsene Wenger in there, let alone Unai Emery. Yeah. So give him the summer. And I'm giving him until the end of this year. So December, if we're not in the top 6 with a race for the top 4 in December, then I reckon get him out and you'd have to get someone else in and give them the January transfer window. But Arsenal fans have got to realise this is it's not just a squad rotation, it's a whole club. Like, we've had board members leave. We've had a manager come in, Emery, who couldn't speak a word of English and messed everything up. So Arsenal fans have just got to be patient. Losing it in that manner, I wouldn't have minded if we lost 1 or 2-0. But the fact is, they didn't play for the shirt that night, and we got humiliated at home, conceding 3 goals again. So it's an embarrassing night to be an Arsenal fan, in all honesty, and I don't really know what to think anymore. This season's done. We've got Slavia Prague on Thursday, and I'm absolutely crapping myself. We've got so many injuries. I feel like I'm going on an absolute.
Oh, it's brilliant,
mate. I'm having a meltdown like AFTV, but I'm losing my mind. It's a nightmare.
I think I'm sat here laughing. We've got Real Madrid in a couple of days' time, so I can't really. Actually, not even a couple of days' time. Tomorrow we've got Real Madrid, so I can't sit here and laugh too much. But I think the second thing is, first half, we're going to the first half and it's 0-0. And you're looking, okay, to be fair, we were dominating you, but we weren't producing, we weren't making those chances for ourselves. The finishing was a bit sloppy. The decision-making weren't quite there. You see with Mane's a real strange one this season. His performances are world-class. When you actually watch him play,
he's world-class, 100%. Yeah.
Defensive side of his game and just all of it, everything apart from finding that goal, just 1 or 2 goals to his name in the game. That's the last missing piece this season. I don't get it. Like, I know a lot of people outside of Liverpool are quite big fans of him, outside of the Liverpool fans, and obviously Liverpool fans rate him anyway. But I know that there are quite big portion of other Premier League fans that do rate Mane, and they know how good he is. And it's a shame to see him performing this season the way he has been, because you look at his goals from last season, even the season before, it's just completely dropped off. And I feel for him. He's clearly lacking. I don't know if it's confidence, because when you watch it, he's not playing without any confidence. He's playing with like, biggest set of knackers you could ask for. Like, he doesn't care. He'll take on anyone. And he'll create the chances he wants to create, and he'll bully defenders. But it's just that last bit in front of goal. He just can't. He can't nick a goal for himself. I don't get what it is. It's his decision making. There's been times. I mean, you watch the Arsenal game, and there's a times where he's trying to play. He tried playing that through ball to Firmino within like the first 15, 20 minutes, and really he should have just carried on his run, because he was already. He could have easily taken the ball a yard clear of Gabriel and gotten a shot off, but instead he tries to fed a ball through to Firmino, and it just doesn't work out. Like, he's in the box and he's in a great scoring opportunity. He's got the pace to beat his man, and he just makes the wrong choice. And it was a shame, really. I think we saw James Milner. He's just, that man doesn't age. He's like a fine wine.
Yeah, he just doesn't stop, does he? He's a machine. His fitness is second to none. But
I think having a player like that with that experience as well.
Every team needs one.
Yeah, it's so important. It's so important. Him. Like, you see Henderson with it now. Him winning those trophies. He's got that experience, and he's got that know-how of how to turn something around like that, and how that winning mentality. But it was just a dominant performance. But I think you like, it's so strange. I just don't get it. I get what you mean about with Arteta getting rid of some of the dead wood, because like you say, you got players like Lacazette. And no disrespect to Lacazette, when you look at him from Lyon, when he was at Lyon, like, that man was easily top 5 strikers in the world, and everyone was thinking, there was always rumours about Arsenal signing him, and I remember a load of Arsenal fans, like even like mates of mine that are Arsenal fans, going, please just let us sign Lacazette.
Yeah.
Bring him in under Wenger, and then it's just, I don't get it. But I think, like you said, Arteta's not the manager Klopp is, but every manager needs time. Like, you saw the changes with Man United when they sacked Fergie. Like, that was they're still not back up to where they thought they'd be. They thought Fergie would leave, and they'd look at the squad and, well, the squad ain't changed. All we're doing is bringing in a different manager. We'll be fine. It ain't like that. You're not just losing a manager. You're losing a presence. You're losing every aspect of that club. With Fergie, all ran through him. Like, the mentality of the players was because of him. The ability of the players was because of him. Everything behind the scenes, the training, the lifestyle, the recovery, all of it is Fergie. And then you take that away and you bring in a new guy. The whole system takes a hit, and that's what Arsenal are looking at the minute. That Wenger period has gone now. Unai Emery didn't work out, so he's bites the bullet. You bring in Arteta, and from what was available, I think Arteta has been a good addition so far. I don't think his Arsenal career has been bad at all. I know his win ratio after the first, I think was it after his first 50 games, he'd won less games than what Emery did. Like, his win ratio was.
Yeah, he's won less. So he's won less by quite a way.
But in that time, he still managed 2 trophies, and he made it. You beat us in the Community Shield. I know it was on penalties, but it's still, a win is a win, and a trophy is a trophy.
A trophy's a trophy, and every team would take it.
I don't get it. It's the weird. It's like the massive anomaly. It just doesn't make sense. But you've got to give him time, and you've got to give him the opportunity to make the squad that he wants. And I think one interesting thing, and I want to lead it on to this next sort of topic of conversation, is with Odegaard. Obviously, he's come in on loan, and the eyes with him at first initially was, obviously, he was happy to join, it seemed. Apparently he was having words with the Real Madrid board, saying that he wants to stay at Arsenal. He wants to make it a permanent move in the summer. And then the boat seems to have been shook a bit with the Haaland news that's been rattling around over the last week or so. Obviously, Raiola had meetings with Barcelona and Real Madrid, and the demand with Barcelona was a crazy fee for his dad and right, they were something stupid like 20 million euros each, and that Messi has to stay on for the next season as well. And then the demands that Haaland made was that apparently he wants to play in a side with Odegaard next season. Now, what that means for you guys, I'm not so sure, because obviously
it's easy. Haaland's coming to Arsenal, mate.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Realistically, I think haven't quite got the funds there for both of those moves. But what is that? What do you think that puts you in a situation with Odegaard now? Do you think the Haaland rumours and him saying he wants to play with Odegaard is more of just a fantasy rather than a reality?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, if we play like that Saturday night, if we play like that every game for the rest of the season, why on earth would you want to sign for us and move country? It's ridiculous. So, Odegaard's had tons of pressure on him since the age of 16. He's actually, and you'd be kidding yourself if you're not saying he's delivering, because he's definitely delivering now.
Yeah, great player.
And I just think he needs solidarity in his life. He needs to come to a country. He needs to commit to that country and that club. And I'm going to sign a 4-year deal. And this is my team. This is my town now. That's what he needs. And Madrid, obviously, they're not going to give him that. It's pretty obvious. And he's not going to be, Odegaard's not going to be like 60, 70 million because he's not proven yet. He'll be a good 30, 40 million. And if you can afford Haaland, any club will be able to say, all right, then, we'll have Odegaard too. But I don't know, it might be a bit of a fantasy. It might be the press talking too much. But look, if Haaland's got these demands, he's a world-class player and he's going to be probably one of the top 10 strikers of all time within the next 10 years. So, I don't know. I don't see, if we carry on playing like we did on Saturday, why would Odegaard stay? I wouldn't stay. No way.
It's a difficult one because it puts you in a situation where obviously a couple of weeks ago you were probably confident of Odegaard joining at the end of the season because he was happy, he was playing good football. I know the results haven't been going your way 100%, but you can see that there's potential there. And Odegaard clearly understood that. He clearly liked the sort of route that Arteta was willing to take with the squad. But then he just, comes in, stirs the pot, Haaland does. And I don't know if you saw at the end of the game, Klopp having that little conversation with Odegaard, whether that was a little hint saying, basically, we're going to sign you, mate. Do you want to come join us as well? Because I don't know if you remember that he had trials at Liverpool back when he was younger.
Yeah.
He had trials back in the Warrior days when we had those awful kits by Warrior. But, it's
annoying because I feel like he might be using us as a selling platform of, I'll prove myself in the Prem, and if Arsenal do well, I'll stay. If they don't do well, then I've got a good selling technique. And, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, Everton will all be like, oh, yeah, all right, well, we'll have a bit of that for 40 million. So you just don't know. But by the sounds of things, Odegaard's enjoying playing under Arteta, but we've got to finish strong because if we don't, I'm seriously worried for Arteta because the minute them fans are back, it's worrying times for Arteta. He's gonna feel the heat, and this has done him a favour. Having no fans has done him a huge favour because that Emirates would be in turmoil right now with the fans there. Yeah. So when the fans are back, God forbid, Jesus Christ, man, he needs to have some kind of results going his way for the rest of the season now. It's big pressure.
Yeah, I feel like Arsenal fans are so intense. I think,
they're annoying, aren't they?
not every Arsenal fan, obviously. You talk sense each week yourself, but there's just some that they demand so much than what the actual realities of expectations are, and I think sometimes you forget that the miracle. I mean, in my opinion, Wenger did miracles, even just getting you lot top four with some of the squads that he had over the years. Especially, it was ridiculous what he was able to do. And obviously it was quite funny because obviously everyone used to take the mick out of Arsenal and say, all they do is finish fourth. But actually, financially, it kept you guys in good stead. You had Champions League football every season. You were able to attract some of the best players with that. And you miss out on that and you start to see the hit. I mean, you saw the impact when he left and you didn't get Champions League. You could see instantly it was like, Jesus, how are we going to attract some of these players now? Like, we want to make these signings in the market. Now we haven't got the money because we haven't finished high enough on the table. We're not going to be able to attract the players we want because they want Champions League football. Like, if you want the best players, you've got to provide the best quality of football for them. And I think Arsenal took a real hit with that. And I don't know, it's a strange. Obviously, I mean, going back to it because I'm stirring the pot here a little bit. But obviously, the thing with Liverpool recently with FSG, they're apparently investing 136.5 million for the summer, along with the funds that are already probably there. So, I mean, we could see Liverpool sign Odegaard and Haaland.
I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised.
Neither would I. I genuinely wouldn't, because if this true that they're going to invest proper this summer because of the recent.
You could sign anyone. Yeah.
Haaland would. No one's going to turn down Klopp. I know we haven't exactly had the greatest of seasons, but everyone knows if you look at that squad, it's no different from the one that won the league last year. And it's not really any different from the one that won the Champions League the year before that. This is just a little dip in form. Like, it's expected, in all honesty. Like, I expected it to come at some point. I know everything wasn't going to be rosy for the rest of my life. Like, you're going to have dips and you're going to go up and down with your form. But I really wouldn't be surprised if it happened. I'd be very happy if it happened because I think Haaland, I love Haaland. I think he's.
If Holland could go to Stevenage and he could get promoted to Premier League, like he's that good.
He could easily because
He's that
you
good.
got to do is put him in front of goal and he'll finish. Like
Yeah,
you even
all
have to
day
make
long.
the chances easy for him. You can play a through ball from right back and he'll find a way to score a goal. So he's just one of them generational talents. He's got pace, he's got power, he's got height, he's got that ability in front of goal. He's a full package, isn't he? And I do think if Liverpool did manage to get him and Odegaard, because I think Odegaard and them two working together, because I think Liverpool need that in the midfield. They need that little creative number 10. I think that's something they're missing.
Yeah, definitely. Firmino, for me, I think he's been found out in the Premier League. I think he's still well.
Yeah.
Oh, is he world class? I don't think Firmino's world class. I think he's a very good player. I don't think he's world class.
I think the thing with Firmino is he's not your conventional number 9. He's not your conventional typical striker.
Brazilian player.
Yeah, he's a bit of samba. He brings a little bit of flair. He is more of a number 10, I suppose, but with a number 9 on his. But he plays more of a false 9 up front.
False 9.
He's there more to pull the strings, drop in deep in between the lines, bring the defence out, create room for Salah and Mane on the wings. We all know that. So when you look at his goal scoring numbers, and they're a lot lower than the rest of the strikers in the Premier League, any Liverpool fans not going to be bothered by that. It seems to be rival fans that like to take that statistic and shove it in your face, even though we can sit here and say it really don't bother me, because at the end of the day the goals are coming from elsewhere. So as long as we're winning games and scoring goals, I don't care who scores them. But it would be, if Firmino did leave, which he probably will, because I know he's been linked with Atletico, it would be a shame really, because I think he brings something very different that no other team in the Premier League has, and that's one thing I do like. And no one's got that sort of.
Yeah, I agree. But I think sometimes he's not Premier League enough. He's been here for a while, but sometimes I think he needs to adapt his game to play against different styles of teams. Like, if he's coming up against a groggy Crystal Palace on a Tuesday night, I think games like that, he does get. It's not bullied. He just gets silenced out of the game. It's strange. I think what will happen in the summer with Liverpool, if you get Champions League, it'll be obviously, look, it's the same for every club. If you finish in Champions League, it opens up the doors to sign any player in the world.
Yeah.
But if Liverpool don't get Champions League this year, I think that is bigger than what Liverpool fans don't understand how big it is. But signing someone like Erling Haaland goes straight out the window. It's going to be a difficult one for you to get in that top 4 now.
To defend Firmino quickly, because I feel like I have to. I feel like I've got to back him up a little bit. His first season at Liverpool, he scored 10 goals and got 7 assists in 31 games. So not a bad return. First season in the Prem. Then you look at his second, 11 goals with 7 assists. Again, decent return. That's from 36 games. Then 37 games in the 17-18 season, he's got 15 goals and 7 assists. So he's covering both ends of his deal here. And in the Champions League that season, he was phenomenal. I don't know if you remember, if everyone remembers it, but he got 10 goals and 7 assists in 13 games in the Champions League that season. That was obviously the final where we went to Madrid and we lost it. Very funny. But that season for Champions League football as well, and from a guy who's not really there to score goals, and he still managed to deliver. Following season in the Premier League, 18-19 season, he gets 12 goals, 6 assists, another great return. Last season was probably where he dropped off a little bit more.
Yeah, this is I'm saying most recently.
And so you're talking 9 goals and 8 assists, so it's still a decent return. But he was averaging double figures, for his whole career. And I think for a striker to get 10 goals a season on average, at least, is actually quite impressive. And when you're getting 15 goals a season, in my opinion, you are one of those Premier League strikers. You are sort of one of the more top 5 strikers in the league if you can average 15 goals each season. And he was got it once, and he was getting close to it, double figures. And in this season, 6 goals and 5 assists from 28 games. It's not near his tally.
It's just dropped off, in performance. Like this season's before, you can see in his numbers, it's just dropped off. And I don't think he's that style of player to next year go have a season like he did in his first or second season in the Prem. But can't take it away from him. He's a quality player. And if he does leave Liverpool this season, then look, he can go away with a massive smile on his face saying, I completed it, mate. Do you know what I mean? He's won everything.
Won everything.
So fair play to him.
But It's an interesting one. Obviously, that was that wonderful game. That wonderful.
That was the fact derby. I wasn't swearing. That's a fancy Kickaboyt, yeah.
Yeah, it's abbreviated. Don't worry.
And then Sunday, Southampton 3, Burnley 2. That was a good game. Great game. 2-0 down, 3-2 up. It's every fan's dream.
It's big win for Southampton. I needed that. I think Hasenhüttl needed that. You can see it's been chipping away at him. So yeah. I think that was a perfect result for them.
I think Hasenhüttl was a fraud. That's my opinion. Can't lose two games 9-0. I don't care if it was a year away. You can't do that in a career. Like,
it's a freak thing, and like it was crazy.
Just crazy, and it's the same team. So that's my theory. He's linked with the Tottenham job in a couple of years, and I'm all for it, mate. Off you go. Which moves us on to Tottenham and Newcastle. Joe Willock, mate. What an unreal player. I'm joking. He's not even that good. I don't rate him. He's proper lightweight. He'd probably be good in the Championship for a Norwich or something. But 2-2. Big point for Newcastle, and a bad point for Spurs yet again.
Yeah, I think like we say, Newcastle were desperate for some points, and it's not like it was a fantastic performance from them. It was just a poor performance from Spurs. You know, they didn't outplay them, but Spurs are just, you can see Mourinho coming out in the press afterwards and he's saying about all the grey hairs on my head because I'm seeing things on the football pitch that I shouldn't be. I can understand his frustration. Like,
I get it, but he's a manager. Take responsibility for that. You pick the team, you buy the players, so button it and jog on. Do you know what I mean? Wear it with pride. It's like, oh, mate. Like Arteta's, like, he came. That's the total contrast between Arteta and Mourinho. Arteta gets battered at home 3-0. All the fans know that it was Arsenal players' fault. It didn't turn up. Mourinho, Jesus Christ, he blames it all on the players. Like, if I was a Tottenham, I speak to a lot of Tottenham fans. Most of my mates are Tottenham fans. Everyone I work with are Tottenham fans, and they're all saying Mourinho out. So when the fans come back in, I think there's going to be a bit of trouble in North London.
He's definitely get some stick.
Definitely. And if they lose that Carabao Cup final, God help him. Because
I think they'll win it.
He knows how horrible he gets. You think they'll do it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just for a laugh.
All right, fair enough. Secret yid over there.
Plus, it'll be funny. It'll be funny if they did win it, and then we get to do the episode after, and I get to see your face when Tottenham finally win a trophy. And that's Carabao Cup, but it's still silverware.
Yeah, great. No, I don't think they're going to win that. I just, maybe they can't win it because I won't record a podcast ever again. Villa 3, Fulham 1, Jack Grealish out. First time they've won a game without Jack Grealish, and God knows when. But strong performance. Watkins on a score sheet again, really giving Southgate a job to think about for the Euros. But Villa needed that result because they were crawling down the table slowly. Arsenal went into ninth. It was crazy to say that, but no, that's a good result for Villa. Yeah,
I think they need, like you said, they needed it. Grealish out for so long. I know he's back in training now, but it's not. You know, it doesn't give you the confidence and then go, oh, sweet, we'll have Grealish back soon. It don't work like that. He's still got to build his match fitness, and it was a good win for him, a massive win. And Keenan Davis coming on, making an impact with a nice little cross. Nice
little Stevenage boy.
Yeah, I think they play pretty well. Ollie Watkins scores goals. Obviously coming out of the back of his England debut. Scored, I think, as most people expected that. It was against San Marino, so there's nothing special. But
it'd be interesting to see what happens with Jack Grealish now, because he has got to come back, be fully fit, and play 10 out of 10 every game to get on that plane. Because there are rumours flying around that Lingard's going to go.
Yeah,
that'll be an absolute catastrophe if that happens, and that will sum Southgate up in a nutshell.
Yeah,
there's even rumours about Jadon Sancho not going, and look, I know I said I'm not really too bothered about Jadon Sancho, but I'd take Jadon Sancho over Jesse Lingard. He just offers more and he contributes more. But Jack Grealish, when he comes back, we can really see who Jack Grealish is now, because he's going to be fully fit. He's got 8-9 games left in the Prem. And he's playing for his place on the plane. Like, there is nothing else in this world you want to play more for than your country.
He needs this. And I think he knows he needs it. He said before about how, like, it's all great playing for Villa, captain in Villa, his boyhood club. And I'm not taking that away from Villa fans. He probably was one of his childhood dreams, and he's fulfilled it. But he's always said like that he feels like England is sort of the last piece of the puzzle for him, and I think no one deserves it more than him. He is one of our best players, one of England's best players easily, in my opinion. And he needs to go. He can't not go. Same with Trent. I'm gonna keep saying it. Neither of them. Trent's got to go.
Yeah, them type of players, you can't leave him out. Even he doesn't even play Jude Bellingham that much. He's
Yeah, I mean,
crazy.
it's a wonder kid. Jude Bellingham, it will easily be the anchor of England's midfield, for the foreseeable. When when Southgate's given the boot and Bellingham actually gets the chances he deserves in midfield, because he's better than him and Rice would be honestly an unbelievable midfield, like midfield two, especially as a defensive midfield two. They'd be world beaters. Like you can't ask for more than that, in my opinion. And the sooner Southgate either realises that or gets the boot and someone else comes in who does know that, then the better. Because I know he's only 17, but the best players, especially with his ability, it doesn't matter how old they are. You really think he was bothered about going? He didn't look phased about going from Birmingham to the Bundesliga. Like, that didn't bother him at all, and he's just been like a duck to water at Dortmund. So if he can do it on that stage and at that level against some of the quality players that are in the Bundesliga, then why can't he do it for England against San Marino? Do you know what I mean? It's just, it doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, Southgate needs the boot, in my opinion. He's just not making the decisions that he should be. He just doesn't know football. I'm sorry,
old.
I don't care.
He doesn't look right, does it?
He
It doesn't look right. It's boring. Last game, Sunday night, Old Trafford, Man United 2. Unlucky Danny Welbeck, Brighton 1.
Yeah, I feel sorry for Brighton because I feel like they could have and should have maybe got a bit more from that game.
Should have had a penalty, definite penalty. Jesus Christ. If that was Amex Stadium, that would have been given them as a pen, but because it was Old Trafford. But to be fair, look, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is winning games there. You can't complain.
Exactly. 3 points.
Is he going to do much? I don't really care about Solskjaer because he's no worry to me. I don't lose sleep over him. I just think the longer he's there, the better, because he's not a winner. He's not a winner. Yes, he won trophies as a player, but it's a totally different ball game as a manager. And I just don't believe, while Solskjaer is at Man United, they will not win a major trophy. They might win the Carling Cup, but look, bloody Tottenham are going to win that this year potentially. But you can't say Solskjaer is. You can see Solskjaer winning the Premier League. No way.
No one can.
No way.
I think it comes down to. I think you've got to build a reputation as a manager, and I know it's Rich saying that when he hasn't had the masses of chances that maybe some a lot of managers spend years in the game before they win their first trophy, and then all of a sudden they just can't stop winning. And I think it would be unfair to sit here and say, "Oh, Solskjaer's just not." You can never see him winning the Premier League with United. I think he's shot himself in the foot in a way because he was with managing Mould and then going to Cardiff and then getting relegated with them. Back to Mould, and then all of a sudden to go from that to the Man United job, he's kind of shot himself in the foot in regards to his managerial career, because he's at a club where they should be winning trophies and they have the finances, they've got the personnel there with that squad. They should be winning the trophies, they should be winning things and being in contention for pretty much every competition that they're in, and they're not. And it's to be frank, it's down to him.
Yeah, he's been there 4 years. 4 years, no trophy, and he's probably spent an average of 100 mil every year. So,
exactly,
it's only been a matter of time. As I said, I'll keep on saying it, but when the fans are back, we're going to really see what fans think of their managers and whether their managers can hack it. Because some managers have not experienced fans there at all. Like, you look at Arteta and Mourinho, they've barely experienced their fans being there since they've been at their club. So it's going to be an interesting one. But Solskjaer, 4 years, average 100 million every summer and every January, whatever. He's going to feel the pressure when they get back. Because if he doesn't deliver a trophy, he should have gone the FA Cup this year, in my opinion. It's just a safety
something
belt
to bounce you up onto the next platform.
It's great. FA Cup's a great trophy to win. I mean, we won 4, so we didn't want to win it this year. Let someone else win it. But it's a great trophy to live.
How modest of you.
I'm joking. But no, that's all the Prem games wrapped up, really. Yeah,
good weekend.
To say, Liam? Yeah, it's good game.
Weekend of football.
Good game weekend. Yeah, definitely.
Not for you, but for
obviously not for me. But
I loved it.
I bet you did. Lovely stuff. Cool. Well, thanks for listening and thanks for watching.
Yep.
Don't forget, tell your mate, your mum, your mum's dog, your neighbour's dog to get on us if you like football. We are going to be bringing a new episode. Liam, would you like to tell a little bit of a secret reveal?
Well, yeah, we was having a little think about new ideas, what we could do for the podcast, and we thought, well, all we do is sit and talk about football. There's plenty of other things to talk about, so we are gonna soon. There's no, definitive date on it because we're a bit slow, but there is going to be a new theme on the pod, a new little branch off. It's called Fancy a Kickabout, Fancy a Pint, and it's basically just going to be us sitting down with normal people talking about normal issues.
Having a pint.
Yeah, and a lovely, can of Red Stripe, whatever is your tipple. But we'll be sitting here talking about, issues that are going on with yourselves or things that happen in the world, opinions on society and whatever's going on, how you feeling, mental health, whatever it is, we'll cover it. Just to sit down with your mates, just talking a lot of rubbish and getting things off your chest. So yeah, if you're into that sort of stuff, then obviously let everyone know. As Ash said, share it with your mum, your nan, and her dog, and her friends, and all the birds down at the nursing home, whatever you need. I'm sure they'll want to listen. So yeah,
Quality.
It'll be good.
Lovely stuff. Well, we're going to finish on Song of the Week. We haven't done it for a while, so if you're on YouTube, you're going to have to go over to Spotify and check it out because this is a banger. It's Goodbye Mr. A by the Hostess. Yes.
That is a tune. That is a tune.
Love it. Thank you for subscribing. Thanks for watching.
Yes.
See you later.